Water cow.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Let's go! A goal! A goal!
The Pokémon Company has gone into the free-to-play multiplayer online battle arena or MOBA genre, their latest game, Pokémon Unite. Over the past few months since its release, my son and, admittedly also I, have played it a lot. He on the Nintendo Switch and me on my phone. And when the game is shut off and he's playing pretend with himself, his sister or any other family member or friends, he's defeating wild and enemy Pokémon and scoring goals. Suffice to say, it has taken over his life, and in extension, also mine. So, what is it? Is it any good, and should you really let loose your child in this online multiplayer game? Hi, I am Dad Plays Games, and let's see if we can't answer that. First of all, what is Pokémon Unite? Well, using a Pokémon of your choice from a roster of, at the time of writing, 22 available Pokémon. With these you then play in teams of 3, 4 or 5 against an enemy team. Defeat wild Pokémon to gain points and get stronger, and visit an enemy team goal area to score the points gathered so far. You can battle against other teams' Pokémon in order to steal their points and send them back to the starting area, and each map has some mini bosses that give a lot of points and some extra temporary bonuses. As you get stronger, you twice get to choose between 2 special attacks to alter the Pokémon's playstyle to fit your need and taste. And towards the end of the match, you'll also unlock your Unite move, which is a very strong move, but also has a very slow countdown until you can use it again. Matches are played in 5 or 10 minutes, and throughout you get updates on who's in the lead just a few times. The match can swing quite fast towards the end, so making a comeback can happen even in the face of defeat, making most matches feel satisfactory even when you lose. Pokémon Unite is fun, there is no denying it. By keeping matches on a short timer, the pace is high and the commitment of a match isn't as big of a deal as in other games in the genre, which can clock in at closer to an hour, as they are played until one team is defeated. There are some issues with a feature called held items, suffering from being rather pay to win, as a player who would spend real money will get stronger items than one who doesn't, at least not at the same pace. The developers seem to be looking into ways to negate this, and with matchmaking usually pitting you against similarly skilled players, this is less of a problem than it may seem, but it's still an issue to be aware of. My son is having fun with the game, despite his young age, as he gets to control Pokémon and use cool moves with them. The rules are simple enough for a child to grasp, but there is also a lot of teamwork and strategic depth to be found for older players. Somehow they have managed to make a game that connects with a very broad audience. And while balancing issues and bugs sneak their way into the game as with any other, and they can make the game less fun, they usually only last for a few days before they're fixed. So, we've covered what it is, and if it's any good. But as with any multiplayer game, as a parent with kids who play games, you need to consider the level of interactivity with other people that your child will have. Toxicity in chat, especially over voice chat in competitive games, is unfortunately very common, and parental controls on the Switch is abysmal. On mobile devices, it's a bit better, but not really going in depth for individual games. So surely this is where I tell you to block this game from your kids, right? Well, actually no. A team that works well together will do better than one that doesn't in most team-based games, and this one is no different. However, there is no voice chat on mobile, or well, there is, but it's very hard to enable. On the Switch you can enable it, but by default it is off as well as on mobile, and you'll have to manually enable it once the match has begun, in hidden menus that you normally don't visit during a match. There is no text chat other than a series of pre-made commands, so the ways to communicate with your team is rather limited. You can, if you want to, play with friends and get out a competitive edge and use voice chat out of the game like Discord, but this will still limit you to your teammates, and most likely your child or you will only be chatting with friends you already have. You can add players you play with to an in-game friends list and invite them into parties to see their stats and such, but there isn't really any way to be communicating with them in-game, apart from the in-game voice chat, which is team-wide, so the risk of your child being reached out to by strangers on the internet seems to be non-existent almost. And I really hope it stays this way. I would like to be able to block it completely, but it is what it is.
So how's it like playing with your child?
Well, it works better than I expected. The rules and mechanics are easy enough for my 5.5-year-old to grasp, and he's doing better than I expected. The more advanced tactics and team play is still a bit beyond him, so if he's playing defender because he likes Blastoise and I'm a speedster like Talonflame, we should be doing different things most of the time, but he prefers to stay close and defeat enemy Pokemon together with me. In tight matches, this can be a bit of a hindrance for the team, but as a whole, it's fine, and honestly, he's having fun anyway, which is the most important thing to me. He has grasped the idea of defeating wild Pokemon to gain points and then go and scoring them, but can sometimes get a bit carried away with chasing down the enemy team. I keep reminding him, but again, he's having fun, and he's getting better. And teaming up with your child, taking down a mini-boss, 2 opponents, then scoring big goals together is one of the most satisfactory feelings gaming can give. It feels very bonding to play together. But the game isn't nothing but praise in this department. You do have to unlock new Pokemon to play by spending in-game currency. And this can take several weeks to save up to one. He tends to spend it as soon as he can, and twice now he's been very excited by a newly released playable Pokemon, only to have spent all of his currency the day before on something that he won't even use. In a training mode against AI-controlled enemies, he can try out any of the Pokemon in the game, and will sometimes play this training mode for hours, with the side effect that he is now nowhere closer to actually unlocking anything afterwards. There are also rotating Pokemon that are available for free every week, however he does have many favorites to fall back on should the one he wants be locked, but be prepared for requests to open your wallet. And make sure you have 2-step verification on purchases enabled. This game is also full of cosmetics that you can spend real money on. But luckily a firm we are not doing that early on mitigated that for now. I often find myself playing the game on my own as well. I play a game or two with him almost every day at this point, and he plays at least 2 matches a day if allowed. For a free-to-play game, it's certainly very fun for the both of us, and I'll happily spend at least a little bit of money every now and then on unlocking some new fun character for us. Without a doubt, Pokémon Unite has my seal of... Oh, come on, not again! Thank you. Thank you for watching this video. There are more reviews, parents/gaming thoughts, and gaming videos in general on here, so please stick around for some more. It really helps out the channel's growth. So does liking this video and subscribing to the channel. And I also try to go live with some streaming every most Thursdays, so I hope to see you on there. Until next time.